Hi everyone, this is Koinzell here. So this time around, this video is going to be for Ganyu. We'll do a C0 versus C1 Shenhe rotation for Ganyu. Now my Shenhe stats for Ganyu is slightly different than the Ayaka's because you're going to need more ER on Shenhe when paired with Ganyu as opposed to Ayaka, because Ayaka's E generates a lot more energy than Ganyu's E. It's just the way their keywords. Okay, so with Shenhe, with that being said, these are my Shenhe stats. Obviously, my CRCD, there's some changes. My energy recharge is at 142.7 as opposed to previously it was 131.7. So essentially, a additional 11% more ER. And in exchange, we sacrifice a little crit damage. We got some additional crit rate, and our attack drop. With the R1 effect, we are at 4379 as opposed to 4499 previously. So we drop about 120 attack in exchange for higher CR and lower crit damage and 11% more ER. But you can still make it work with 131 ER. It's just that it's tougher. There are going to be more scenarios where you can't get the energy fully back on Shenhe. So I definitely recommend going for 114 ER instead of 130 when it comes to Ganyu. Of course, if you are already on 114 ER, there's no need to intentionally drop it to 130 for Ayaka, in my opinion. The 114 ER it also makes things more comfortable for Ayaka. Alright, so these are the stats. Weapon is the same. Artifacts, the main difference was I changed the goblet so that I can use a different feather that gives me more ER. So that's the gist of it. But we do lose a bit of attack in return, specifically the main attack here. And also quite a bit of attack percentage, about 8% attack. That's the reason why we drop 120 attack. Okay. Translation still the same, talents still the same as the Ayaka video. And there were some questions about my other characters' ER. So Kogomi's ER shouldn't matter. Ganyu's ER is actually at 100%. Now, if you're doing a freeze comp, it might be safer to have about 110 to 120, which is easily achievable just from base rolls. I don't have base rolls ER, unfortunately, for the artifacts that I have on her. But definitely 110, 120 will make things more comfortable, especially if you don't have her C2. Venti is at 153, which is not a high amount considering he also has ER as Ascension stat. So from artifacts, I really don't have much ER. Okay, so these are my team comp stats. Now let's look at the rotation itself. Same thing, we'll look at C0 first, then C1, and we'll talk a bit about the damage buff as well. Alright, let's check out the rotation. Okay, so this is the rotation video, the showcase. The characters are all the same, except that Ganyu has been changed. Ayaka has been changed to Ganyu. Okay, my Venti is C0 by the way. Kokomi is also C0. Shenhe is C1. Ganyu is C6. In this video, in this showcase, I will be using the C6 combo. But if you don't have the C6 combo, then just do the normal charging for the aim, for her charge level 2 shot. That's it. Alright. And yes, you lose out some energy particles from being able to spam her E. And this is why you will need more ER on her. But like I said, my Ganyu is very unlucky. I only have 100 ER. So if you have just a little bit more ER, it's fine. Because her E doesn't generate too many particles. It only generates 1 to 2. Alright, let's look at the rotation itself. Then I will do a playback with the highlights.
いでよ競争よこの仕事は排除するべきですね逃げようなんて思わないでよねご助力を魂相関化粧一緒に遊ぼうよ命ずる天心直送風雪の縮図お触り禁止風だソーランの憩い
Okay, so that was the rotation. It's very smooth. We did 2 rotations for 2 waves of Ufis in floor 12. So that was nice. Let's look at it with my highlights per se. So first off, oops. So first off, what happened just now was that we used our Shenhe's E before her Q, because Ganyu's burst lasts much longer time than Ayaka, so we can afford to use Shenhe's E before her Q, and this is as per my math guide as well. Now look at the damage. This is from her burst, not her charge attacks. So it's pretty straightforward. The usual freeze comb rotation applies. Here you see me applying another Shenhe E, and we will get damage buff from this. Okay, so like I said, even with C0, you are able to get 2x trigger quota on your be it Ganyu or Ayaka, as long as you do it right in terms of the rotation. Unfortunately, I can't see the damage figures. They have already been consumed. The trigger quota. So here I am using the C6 combo. If you don't have C6, obviously you can just do the normal charge attack. Hold to your charge attack and unleash your arrows. They are frozen anyway. We try to use Venti's E wherever possible, so that it allows us to get his energy up ASAP within the rotations time. And likewise, as you see here, for it basically we are repeating the rotation. Okay, but at least I show you guys during the downtime, or there's a setup time and the downtime, right? So during the setup and the downtime, how it looks like. We'll look at C1 next. It's still very nicely damage clearing process. So let's look at C1 next. So likewise, we'll look at the rotation in its natural order, then I'll do the highlights again. Okay?
魂よ、競争よ、化身となれ、具現せよ。この仕事は排除するべきですね。相関化粧、一緒に遊ぼうよ。風だ、ご安心を。いでよ。足元に気をつけて。律令に従え、具現せよ。風雪の縮図。逃げようなんて思わないでよね。ご助力を。魂に一緒に遊ぼうよ。
Okay, so that was the run itself. Now let's do a slow playback with highlights from me. I'm just off the volume so that it's not as weird. So you'll notice that we are adding a hole here, right? We just use Shenhe's hole. Why? Because we have C1 now, we can afford to. And I changed the order a bit from my math guide because of the fact that we can't stack the trigger quota when using Shenhe's E consecutively. So we will have to use the hole as the second option rather than the first, so that we get more trigger quota. Okay, and the reason why we are using hole on Ganyu Com is because Ganyu's burst is 15-second cooldown, although Shenhe and Kokomi dreads it to 20. But because Ganyu also does a lot of damage with a charge attack, we are trying to get a 10% or 15% bonus, 15% bonus to charge attack via using her hold. If you prefer, you can also use press. Press will make things easier for you as well in terms of maintaining the comp. So for this portion, I'll leave it up to personal preference. Okay, it's still doable. So it's the same thing, cast Ganyu burst followed by her E, do one charge attack because I have C6. Venti's EQ, Kokomi's E. And you see here, I'm waiting. I'm actually waiting for the mod's first wave to die before I use her second E. Okay. And same thing, we use the charge attacks. Venti E whenever possible. Shenhe will be ready to cast a burst now. And we'll use whole attack here, so as to maintain that bonus. Okay, there is a 79k charge attack. That was because of the Shenhe's buff. Let's take a look. 79311. We managed to land a Ganyu charge attack with Shenhe's trigger quota, the buff. Because of it just so happened that the Icicle didn't drop yet, that's all. Okay, and also because these two big wolves aren't as close to each other as the small wolves. So this is a very nice damage buff. So same thing, we'll repeat our rotation here. Venti, then Kokomi E, then Ganyu charge attacks combo. Whether you're doing E plus charge attack or not. And also always remember, after Kokomi, you use Shenhe's E to reapply trigger quota buffs again. We're very lucky here, we managed to hit him with the charge attack even though he dashed. Okay, so I hope that has been helpful to you guys. Seeing the difference between C0 versus C1 for Ganyu rotation, and also the damage buff that it does provide over the typical Morgana comp. Because Morgana comp is starting to fall off a little right now in the Abyss. But with this Shenhe buff, you'll see that it's still doing it very nicely. We are still clearing Abyss really fast. Okay. So if you like the content, remember my video and click subscribe for more. Damage buff, I already talked about it. And the rotations as well. Okay. Thanks everyone. Bye.